Last night was a good night. But no, I didn't think I'd wake up with any regret or anything, and I don't. I think I'm still respecting Shante at the end of the day. I think women respect honesty and being true to yourself, and I think a lot of women would rather, have someone just be real and talk to them, and if they're gonna step out or whatever, let them know.
How do you claim to be a Christian man but also want multiple women? How does that make sense? Brion is a walking burden. And Shante, oof, we need to talk about Shante. Today, we're breaking down Brion and Shantae's relationship through a psychological lens. We'll be looking at attachment styles, emotional regulation, self-sabotage, and why this entire situation was doomed right from the jump. Let's get it. If you did not watch Temptation Island, what are you doing? You're missing out. You need to go watch it. I literally watched it last night and finished it last night. I'm not proud of what I did, but I did it, okay? And it was definitely worth it from beginning to end. All 10 episodes, watched it. Very good season. Highly recommend if you did not go see it. Watch it definitely before you listen to this commentary. So let's hop right into it. Brion is the epitome of a narcissistic, manipulative partner, okay? He's the worst that I've seen of the bunch. He straight up said, I can do whatever to her, meaning Shante, and she would still take me back. Excuse me? That's not love, that's control. And that's disgusting. Just the simple fact that he claims to be a godly man, but disrespects his relationship at every turn and every opportunity he gets, it speaks volumes. And not to mention, he wants a godly woman while actively being ungodly himself. And I hate that it had to be another woman on the show that was not Shante to point this out. I believe her name was Amaya, the young lady. But basically, she pointed it out and was like, listen, no, it wasn't Amaya. Sorry. It was someone else. I'm so sorry. The names are slipping my mind. But nonetheless, she called him out and was like, listen, you want two opposing things. You want a godly woman, but you're not a godly man. How does that make sense? And he was basically like, I don't like this conversation. I don't like the way this conversation is going. This is classic cognitive dissonance. When someone holds two conflicting beliefs and justifies their hypocrisy rather than changing their actions. And that's the problem. And let's not be naive to the fact that although Brion says, oh, Shante is loyal, she's loyal to me, she's loyal, what he really means is she's weak. That's what he means when he says, I have a loyal girl. He means I have a weak girl who will take me back regardless of what I do to her and to hurt her. Brion only changed his tone when he realized the emotional turmoil and pain that his actions were inflicting on Shante. And again, let's not be mistaken. That again is self-serving behavior, which again goes back to his narcissistic personality traits. So as y'all can see, I'm clearly not a fan of Brion. I'm right with the rest of the internet where I'm just like, throw him away. Throw him away, Shante, and start over anew. Because this is bottom of the barrel. It's bottom of the barrel. Like, I'm sorry. Now, speaking of Shante, girl. This next segment is honestly going to be a love letter to Shante because, again, she's a fellow Black woman. I have nothing but love for her, nothing but love to her. But watching her at that bonfire was painful. She was completely detached, almost numb. Even Mark had to snap her back into reality a few times. Literally. I want you guys to take a listen to this clip and then we'll discuss it a bit more.
I don't know really what I even want to say, Mark. It does kind of make me feel a little dumb, slightly, just because, I've been so confident that he's being faithful to me, and to say that he doesn't have any regret is sad, it's hurtful, it's disrespectful. I don't know, it's just he's basically saying that I should be okay with it because I know that he likes that type of stuff.
Does it make a difference if it is completely disconnected from emotion and love?
So I'm a little confused on how that is not emotionally tied, because he knows that I'm going to see this. And I get that this experience is to pull that out, but I genuinely don't think that in the real world he would have ever did this to me.
I want to check in with your heart, not your head right now.
Yeah, my heart is hurt, obviously. But that doesn't deserve my tears right now, if I'm being fully honest. I'll have time to mourn it and be sad about it, but those girls and him right now, that's not deserving of it.
I'm going to respect that. It's foreign to me. You process emotion differently. I do hear you. Again, this is your head talking, less than your heart. Okay.
Now, it seems like I'm on her case, but it's just because I want good for her. I don't know this woman, but again, she's another Black woman. I feel for her. I want nothing but the best for her. And the whole time I was watching, I'm just like, what was her childhood like? Where is this? Is this a possible trauma response? Prioritizing a man who has shown her time and time again he is not loyal. I mean, where does this come from? This fear of abandonment, where does it stem from? Because we have to realize that Shantae's behavior aligns with anxious attachment. And that typically stems from when people fear rejection so much that they stay in toxic cycles, hoping for validation. So I really, Shante, girl, if you're listening to this, call me up. I want to talk. I'm a Psych NP student, and I would love to get an insight into your past, because this has really like opened up my eyes. And I feel like a lot of people on the internet are judging her, and she's under a microscopic lens right now, but let's not be mistaken, there are plenty of women like this. Plenty. And speaking of other women, this is exactly why I loved the other women on the show. Like, they did not come to play. Exhibit 1, Amaya. That is the real MVP. I hope I'm pronouncing her name right. But when she told Brion that she was going to reject his date because she was a girl's girl and she didn't like the way that he was disrespecting his girl, the fact that she had more respect for Shante than Shante had for herself spoke volumes. And I love that about her. And Ashley and Taylor, they did not come to play. They set boundaries and they held their standards high. They were not playing with their men at all. Even Brion himself had respect for Amaya for basically putting him in his place. Like, he was like, yeah, like, that's what I need. That's what I respect. That's a strong woman. That's a woman who is grounded and stands in her worth. And he likes that. But he also likes to have his cake and eat it too, which is why he ultimately stays with Shante and he calls that love. Now me, I give credit when credit is due, okay? And I will say Brion did own up to some of his faults. He admitted his past still cripples him, and I get it, because trauma is real. But guess what? It's not an excuse to continue harming people. It's just not. Get the help, go to therapy, Do the work, heal. That's it. There's no excuse. And this is exactly why I'm adamant on the fact that Brion and Shante cannot be together. They have no business being together. They need to have zero access to one another. Just for the simple fact that Brion alone, he needs to be alone to work on himself. You can't heal in the same environment that broke you or that you're harming. You just can't do it. Just a little psych breakdown. Unhealed trauma often manifests in self-destructive behaviors, i.e., seeking control in relationships, emotional detachment, and cycles of manipulation, which is basically his whole persona that we saw throughout the season. So for me, one of the most pivotal and probably the most hurtful moments on the show was at the final bonfire when Shante said her biggest takeaway was putting herself first and then proceeded to choose Brion over herself. Y'all, I wanted to throw my laptop. Let this be proof that trauma bonding is real. Mistaking familiar pain for love is real. Fear of change is real. Some people are more comfortable with toxic consistency than healthy unknowns. And honestly, I have nothing but hope for redemption. She believes he'll change despite all evidence proving otherwise. But I really pray and hope that for Shantae's sake, that he does. I mean, I hate to be the one to say it, but someone has to. It really is better sometimes being alone. Brion himself admitted he wasn't worthy of her, and yet she still stayed. If there's one lesson here, it's this. Loyalty without respect is self-betrayal, period. All in all, Brion needs therapy, Shante needs therapy. I even need a little bit of therapy after doing this breakdown. But what's important is that we all need to recognize our own patterns. If someone repeatedly shows you who they are, believe them. Let me know in the comments, do you think Shante will ever truly put herself first? And do you think that they have potential to build a healthy relationship? I want to hear y'all's take. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more psychological breakdowns of your favorite messy reality TV moments. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.